Imagine waking up 30 years from now, looking at your bank account, and realizing that despite decades of hard work, sweating through 40-hour weeks, and missing countless family moments, you have almost nothing to show for it. This is not just a nightmare scenario. It is the statistical reality for the majority of the population. We are often taught how to earn money, but we are rarely taught how to keep it. The bucket of your wealth has holes in it, and no matter how much water you pour in, it keeps draining out. Today, we are going to plug those holes using the wisdom of the Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett. Born in 1930, Buffett is not just an investor. He is a philosopher of patience and value. He built Berkshire Hathaway into a fortress of capital, not by chasing trends, but by avoiding stupidity. As his partner Charlie Munger often said, "It is remarkable how much long-term advantage people like us have gotten by trying to be consistently not stupid, instead of trying to be very intelligent." In this video, we are going to dissect the financial errors that are silently robbing you of your future freedom. We will look at the psychology behind why we spend, the math that works against you, and how to finally break the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. The first and perhaps most critical error is failing to invest in the greatest asset you will ever own, which is yourself. Warren Buffett has said countless times that the best investment you can make is in your own abilities. Inflation cannot take away your talent. Taxes cannot confiscate your skills. If you become excellent at what you do, you will always have purchasing power. However, many people stop learning the moment they leave school. They buy streaming subscriptions instead of books. They spend hours scrolling through social media instead of mastering a new software or improving their public speaking. Buffett emphasizes that simply improving your communication skills can increase your professional value by 50%. Ask yourself, when was the last time you spent money to upgrade your mind? If the answer is vague, you are stagnating. In a rapidly changing economy, stagnation is the first step toward poverty. By ignoring self-development, you are capping your earning potential, making it impossible to outpace the rising cost of living. The second error is the addiction to credit card debt. This is the financial equivalent of running up a down escalator. You are working hard, but you are moving backward. Buffett has a very strict rule about this. He says that if you are smart, you do not need debt, and if you are dumb, you should not have debt. When you carry a balance on a credit card, you are likely paying interest rates of 18%, 20%, or even higher. Mathematically, it is disastrous. There is no investment in the stock market that guarantees a 20% return year after year, yet millions of people voluntarily sign up to pay that rate to a bank. Think about it this way. If you buy a television for $500 on a credit card and pay the minimum balance, that television could end up costing you more than $1,000 over time. You are effectively paying double for everything you buy. This destroys your ability to compound wealth because compound interest is working against you, not for you. You become a servant to the lender. If you are currently in high-interest debt, this is a code red emergency. Every dollar you have should go toward extinguishing that fire before you even think about buying luxury items. Speaking of luxury items, the third mistake is buying brand names merely for the sake of status. Warren Buffett is one of the richest men in the world, yet he drove the same Cadillac for years and lived in the same house in Omaha that he bought in 1958 for roughly $31,000. He does not care about impressing strangers. Most people, however, fall into the trap of the hedonic treadmill. We buy expensive clothes, luxury cars, and the latest electronics because we crave social validation. We want to signal to the tribe that we are successful. But here is the irony. When you drive a car that costs $50,000, people do not look at you and think you are cool. They look at the car and imagine themselves driving it. You are paying a fortune for admiration you are not even receiving. This habit drains your liquidity. You are trading your freedom for a logo. Wealth is what you do not see. Wealth is the nice cars not purchased, the diamonds not bought, the watches not worn. Wealth is financial assets that haven't yet been converted into the things you see. If you constantly convert your money into things to show off, you will end up with a lot of things and no money. Let us pause here for a moment. If you are realizing that you might be guilty of some of these habits, do not worry. Awareness is the first step to change. If you are finding value in this breakdown and want to secure your financial future, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us immensely to keep bringing this content to you, and it signals to the algorithm that you are serious about your growth. Your support allows us to continue analyzing the minds of the world's greatest investors. Now, let us get back to the list. The fourth error is buying a new car too frequently, or buying one you cannot afford. This is arguably the biggest wealth destroyer for the middle class. A new car is a depreciating asset. The moment you drive it off the lot, it loses about 11% of its value. Over the first 5 years, it can lose 60% of its value. If you borrow money to buy a depreciating asset, you are hit with a double whammy. You are paying interest on something that is becoming worthless every single day. Buffett drives cars until they fall apart because he understands the opportunity cost. If you take the average car payment in America, which is hovering around $700 a month, and invest that money in a low-cost index fund instead, over 30 years, that money could grow to over $1 million. You are literally driving $1 million down the drain just to smell that new car scent. Ask yourself, is the smell worth $1 million of your retirement? The functional utility of a car is to get you from point A to point B safely. Anything beyond that is a luxury that should only be purchased if you can pay cash for it without blinking. Another massive mistake is neglecting small recurring expenses. You might have heard of the latte factor, but it goes deeper than coffee. It is the death by 1,000 cuts. It is the streaming service you subscribed to 3 years ago to watch one show and forgot to cancel. It is the premium gym membership you never use. It is the extra data plan you do not need. Warren Buffett is famous for tracking his expenses. He once quipped that he would not pay $3.17 for breakfast if the market was down, opting for the $2.95 option instead. While this sounds extreme, the principle is sound. Small leaks sink great ships. If you waste $10 a day on frivolous things, that is $3,650 a year. Invested over 10 years at a reasonable rate of return, that is tens of thousands of dollars lost. It is not about being a miser. It is about being intentional. Every dollar that leaves your pocket should have a purpose. Do an audit of your bank statement this weekend. You will be shocked at how much money is leaving your account automatically for things you do not even use or enjoy. Then we have the error of speculative gambling disguised as investing. Many people confuse the stock market with a casino. They see a stock rising rapidly, they get a fear of missing out, and they throw their savings into it without understanding the business. Buffett famously says, "Never invest in a business you cannot understand. If you cannot explain how the company makes money on a piece of paper, you have no business owning it." Speculation is trying to guess what the price will do tomorrow. Investing is analyzing what the business will do over the next 10 years. During the cryptocurrency booms or the meme stock frenzies, millions of people lost their life savings trying to get rich quick. They were looking for a lottery ticket. Buffett became a billionaire slowly. He understands the power of patience. If you are trying to double your money in a month, you are not an investor, you are a gambler. And the house always wins eventually. Real wealth is built by owning productive assets that generate cash flow over time, not by betting on the greater fool theory. This leads us to the seventh error, which is trying to time the market. People often sit on cash, waiting for the perfect crash to buy in, or they panic sell when the market drops 10%. Study after study shows that individual investors consistently underperform the market average because they act on emotion, They buy high when they feel euphoric and sell low when they feel scared. Buffett advises the opposite. Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. But more importantly, he advocates for time in the market, not timing the market. If you miss the 10 best days of the stock market over the last 20 years, your returns would be cut in half. Since no one knows when those 10 best days will happen, the only strategy is to stay invested through the ups and downs. Trying to jump in and out is a fool's game that generates taxes and stress but rarely generates wealth. You must detach your emotions from your money. Market volatility is the price of admission for high returns. If you cannot handle the roller coaster, you should not be on the ride. But getting off the ride means walking, and walking is much slower. 8th on the list is not having an emergency fund. Life is unpredictable. Cars break down, medical emergencies happen, and jobs are lost. If you do not have a cushion of liquid cash, usually 3 to 6 months of living expenses, a single bad event can force you into debt. This ties back to the credit card problem. Without an emergency fund, you are forced to borrow money when trouble strikes, often at predatory rates. Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, always keeps over $100 billion in cash and cash equivalents. Why? Because it gives them the ability to sleep well at night and the power to seize opportunities when the world is panicking. For you, an emergency fund is not an investment. It is insurance. It buys you peace of mind. It ensures that you never have to sell your long-term investments at a loss just to pay the rent. It is the foundation upon which all other financial risks can be taken. Without it, you are building a house on sand. Number 9 is a psychological trap, focusing on price rather than value. As Buffett wrote in his 2008 letter to shareholders, price is what you pay. Value is what you get. Just because a stock is cheap, meaning it has a low share price, does not mean it is a good deal. Conversely, just because something is expensive does not mean it is bad. This applies to everyday purchases too. Buying a pair of shoes for $20 that fall apart in 2 months is more expensive than buying a pair for $100 that lasts 5 years. This is the poverty trap of buying cheap goods. You end up spending more over the long run replacing them. You must learn to assess the intrinsic value of what you are buying, whether it is a share of a company or a winter coat. Ask yourself, what is the utility and longevity of this purchase? A cheap item that fails you is a liability. Quality often hurts the wallet once, but cheapness hurts it forever. Error number 10 is having only one stream of income. Relying solely on a paycheck is a high-risk strategy. If your employer decides to downsize, your income goes to zero instantly. Buffett says, never depend on a single income. Make investment to create a second source. This does not necessarily mean you need to get a second job. It means you need your money to work for you. Dividends from stocks, interest from bonds, rent from real estate, or royalties from creative work are all ways to decouple your time from your money. In the modern gig economy, it is easier than ever to start a side hustle or monetize a skill. Even an extra $500 a month can be life-changing if invested correctly. The goal is to reach a point where your asset income exceeds your living expenses. That is the definition of financial freedom. Until you reach that point, you are vulnerable. You are trading time for money, and you have a limited amount of time. Another profound mistake is hanging out with the wrong crowd. This might not seem like a financial error, but it is. Buffett advises students to pick out associates whose behavior is better than theirs, and you will drift in that direction. If your 5 closest friends spend every weekend blowing money at bars, buying expensive gadgets, and complaining about being broke, you will likely do the same. Humans are social creatures. We mimic the behavior of those around us to fit in. This is called social contagion. If you surround yourself with people who talk about investing, business ideas, and personal growth, you will naturally elevate your own standards. Your network is your net worth. It is a cliché because it is true. You need to audit your circle. Are they pushing you toward wealth or pulling you toward poverty? Sometimes saving money means spending less time with people who encourage you to waste it. The 12th error is confusing wealth with income. This is a massive distinction. High income does not equal high wealth. You can earn $500,000 a year and spend $505,000, leaving you broke. Conversely, you can earn $50,000, save $10,000, and be building real wealth. Many high earners fall into the lifestyle creep trap. As their income rises, their expenses rise to match or exceed it. They move to a bigger house, buy a boat, send kids to private schools, and suddenly they are on a golden treadmill. They cannot stop running because the overhead of their life is too heavy. Buffett lives well below his means relative to his income. This gap between what you earn and what you spend is your margin of safety. It is where your freedom lives. Stop looking at how much people earn and start looking at how much they keep. It is not about how much you make. It is about how much you save. Now, let us discuss the error of emotional spending to fill a void. We often spend money to change how we feel. We had a bad day at work, so we order expensive takeout. We feel lonely, so we go shopping. Advertisers know this. They do not sell products, they sell feelings. They sell the idea that this car will make you powerful, or this drink will make you happy. This is known as retail therapy, and it is a lie. The dopamine hit from a purchase lasts a few hours or days, but the bill lasts for weeks. You cannot buy your way out of emotional problems. If you find yourself reaching for your wallet when you are sad, angry, or bored, stop. Recognize the trigger. Go for a walk, call a friend, or exercise instead. Disconnecting your emotions from your spending habits is a superpower. Buffett is incredibly rational. He does not let his mood dictate his capital allocation. You must cultivate that same discipline. Your money is a tool for building your life, not a bandage for your feelings. We must also address the mistake of waiting to start. This is the procrastination penalty. Einstein reputedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it. The biggest factor in compounding is time. If you start investing at age 20, you have a massive advantage over someone starting at age 40, even if the 40-year-old invests twice as much money. Every day you wait is a day your money isn't working for you. Many people say, I will invest when I have more money. This is backward. You will have more money because you invest. You do not need thousands of dollars to start. With modern apps, you can start with $5. The habit is more important than the amount. If you cannot save $5 out of $100, you will not save $5,000 out of $100,000. The discipline scales. The math scales. Do not wait for the perfect moment. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Another critical error is not understanding the impact of fees. Investment fees are termites in your portfolio. If you are paying a financial advisor 1 or 2% of your assets every year, plus the fees of the mutual funds they put you in, you could be losing over 40% of your potential wealth over a 30-year period. It sounds small, 1% or 2%. But on a large sum compounded over decades, it is hundreds of thousands of dollars. Buffett famously won a bet against the hedge fund industry by simply investing in a low-cost index fund that tracks the S&P 500. He proved that high fees do not guarantee high performance. In fact, they often guarantee underperformance. You must be ruthless about costs. Look for expense ratios. Read the fine print. Wall Street makes money on activity and fees. You make money on inactivity and low costs. Keep your money in your pocket, not in your broker's pocket. Let us move to a more subtle mistake, which is borrowing from your future to pay for your present. This often happens when people tap into their retirement accounts early. They cash out a 401k when they change jobs or take a loan against their retirement for a renovation. This is financial suicide. Not only do you often pay penalties and taxes, but you interrupt the compounding process. You are eating the seeds instead of planting them. That money was meant to support you when you are 80. By spending it when you are 30, you are stealing from the old version of yourself. You must treat your retirement accounts as untouchable vaults. They do not exist until you retire. If you view them as a piggy bank for current desires, you will arrive at old age with nothing but regrets. Respect the time horizon of your money. Consider the error of ignoring the risk of inflation. Keeping all your money in a savings account under your mattress or in a low-interest bank account is not safe. It is a guaranteed loss. Inflation is the silent killer of wealth. If inflation is 3%, your money is losing 3% of its buying power every year. Over 20 years, your cash could lose half its value. You must invest in assets that grow faster than inflation. Stocks, real estate, and businesses are hedges against the devaluing currency. Buffett describes inflation as a giant tapeworm that consumes its host. You cannot just save your way to wealth. You must invest your way there. Saving preserves the number of dollars, but investing preserves the value of those dollars. You have to take some calculated risk to protect your purchasing power. Let us talk about the most fragile asset you own. It is not your portfolio. It is your reputation. Warren once said that it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you will do things differently. In our hyper-connected world, where one mistake is broadcast to millions instantly, this is more relevant than ever. Integrity is your currency. It pays dividends in trust, better opportunities, and peaceful sleep. Never trade your integrity for a quick profit. Now consider the concept of the inner scorecard. Many people live by an outer scorecard, worrying constantly about how the world sees them. Do you buy things to impress people you do not even like? Warren lives by an inner scorecard. He judges himself by his own standards, not by public opinion. Psychology tells us that extrinsic motivation, doing things for fame or approval, often leads to anxiety and lower well-being. Intrinsic motivation, doing what aligns with your values, is linked to sustained happiness. When you lay your head on the pillow at night, the only approval that matters is your own. Speaking of happiness, let us address the elephant in the room. Does money buy happiness? Studies from Princeton University suggest that emotional well-being rises with income, but only up to a point where basic needs and security are met. Beyond that, the correlation flattens. Warren, despite having billions of dollars, lives in the same house he bought in 1958. He eats at McDonald's. He finds joy in his work and his bridge games, not in yachts. The lesson is clear. Use money to buy freedom and security, not to fuel an endless hunger for status. Here is a practical method to declutter your life, often attributed to a conversation Buffett had with his pilot. Write down your top 25 career or life goals. Circle the top 5. The other 20? They are not your backup plan. They are your avoid at all costs list. They are the distractions that stop you from achieving the top 5. Focus is not just about what you do. It is about what you refuse to do. In a world full of noise, selective ignorance is a superpower. I have a challenge for you for the next 7 days. It is called the Circle of Competence Challenge. For 1 week, say no to every financial decision or commitment you do not fully understand. If you cannot explain how an investment works or why you are buying a specific item to a 10-year-old, do not do it. Stick strictly to what you know. Observe how much mental energy and money you save by simply staying within your zone of confidence. Wealth is not just a number on a screen. It is the ability to wake up in the morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. That is the ultimate dividend. It is about independence. It is about owning your time. If a specific person came to your mind while listening to this, someone who is stressed about the future or chasing the wrong things, share this video with them right now. It might be the perspective shift they need. We are building a community here dedicated to wisdom and long-term growth. So make sure you are subscribed and have clicked the like button to support this mission. I will be waiting for you in the next video to continue this journey.